Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Andrew and welcome back to my studio. So, in this video, this is the second video in the introductory playlist, and we are going to be talking about more in depth on breathing and how breathing should be more of a vital component of your practice routine. Now, to get into that, I'm not going to go over, say, specific exercises necessarily. I'm sure I will, but I want to go more over a concept behind how to breathe. Right? So here's my logic. If you go into playing, say you just pick up the horn and you're just playing a concert B flat scale, right? Nothing fancy. We've all done it before, or at least seen it before. So how am I breathing when I'm doing that? Right? Of course, I'm taking a breath in and I'm blowing air out to create vibration on the horn, but what am I actually thinking about while I'm breathing? So I want to give that as a demonstration, because knowing how to breathe and seeing a visual aid as to how I'm breathing is more important than just going through an exercise. So with that being said, let's get into the hows of breathing. When we breathe, if we breathe all the way up to the top of our head, like a lot of us have been told to take a full breath, right? Now you should take a full breath, but a full breath does not mean to the top of your head, right? So this is what I mean. If I take, same C scale, if I play a regular C scale just slurred up, and I breathe all the way top of my head, listen to how it sounds compared to how I breathed before, right? If you guys were able to pick that up, I was cracking notes. I was physically not doing anything different with my embouchure or how I was holding the horn. Because I had breathed up to my head, notes were chipping, and I don't know how well it came across on the recording, but the tone was definitely thinner on my side. Now, why is that? Well, if you think of it like this, you breathe up to the top of your head, in theory, to the top of your head. The air has to stop at your mouth. That there's nowhere else for the air to go. So we breathe all the way up. It all gets stuck here, right? Even in my voice, it becomes very tight until enough air is gone, and then all of a sudden my voice is becoming more natural as to what you guys are used to. However, the opposite is true. If I don't have enough air to speak, it sounds tight as well. So there has to be a nice even point, right? If we breathe up to, say, where our sternum is, right where our ribs meet, it'll be a little bit different for everybody. But if you take your hand and you put your hand right at that point and breathe in right to the point where you feel this move. It's not much, and my voice is its natural tone. So when I add the horn, I'm going to breathe up to here, same C scale. Nice even tone. It's not tight, no notes were chipping. Overall solid sound. So, first, breathing up to this point is a good area to begin. Now it might be a little bit higher, a little bit lower for others, but it'll be this general area. Experiment it with yourselves and see what you think. Now the second thing I want to talk about is we breathe up to a certain point, but what if we think about how wide we're breathing? So if you take, say, I'm going to stand up a little bit so you guys can see the camera. If I take this is where my hips lie. If I think of breathing out from the bottom out, it's going to allow the air to more easily go out of my body into the horn, create a nice sound. Now, why is that? When we breathe from the bottom, like many of you have probably been told, it allows us to keep the tension out of our chest. If we hold it in our chest, you might be able to talk the same, but I feel really tight up here, and if I go to the horn, it's going to create an undesirable effect. You breathe bottom wide, as I call it, right? Up to this point, but still bottom wide is what I'm thinking. So up to here, but bottom wide. Now, if I add the horn, I'll go ahead and do the breath again. Up to here, bottom wide. Still a good sound. It's the same sound as when I was just talking about going up to your sternum where your ribs meet. Now, fix my shirt. When we are thinking of breathing bottom wide, you're not physically doing anything different. You're mentally thinking the air is being contained lower. The only difference in how you will feel compared to how you normally would be breathing is there should be less tension here. Stopped right about here. I thought bottom wide. There's no tension in my chest. And I create a nice solid sound. So, if I use that idea, let's add another octave. I'm going to play a 2-octave C scale now, with both of those concepts in mind. Nice solid sound, nice and even, no notes were chipped, and it was played in tune. If I breathe up to the top of my head, this is what happens. This is not how to play. So yeah, I was able to get the note out right, whoop-de-doo. It sounded really pinch, really tight, and there was no resonance in the sound at all. I would not want to hear that live. I would not want to play that live. I would want, the first time I played the 2-octave C scale, now that I would want to perform. So, with all of this in mind, this is a good baseline to think about how to conceptually think about breathing. Now go ahead and do whatever exercises you want. In the range video, I talked about this exercise called floppy chops. That can also be a breathing routine, or a breathing exercise. And, well, it is a breathing exercise, but you get the idea. So, here is one more breathing exercise you can do. And it's called E to O. Now, E to O is literally transitioning from an E syllable when you're breathing to an O syllable with your breathing. Now, it's called E to O. I like to think of it more as E to O, with more of like a mix of ah and O. So it's like an O syllable. And this just creates an easier feeling for me in my breathing. If O is better for you, go ahead and do that. So the exercise, go ahead and breathe in with an E syllable, out, in with an O syllable, out. Now what you should notice with the E syllable, it was more friction of the air. You could hear the air coming in and blowing out. With the O, it was a whole lot less. There's a whole lot less tension, a whole lot less likelihood for when you would actually play the horn that notes would chip, and it would be more in tune. So, the exercise goes like this. Now, the camera's not wide enough for me to do this, so I'm going to you would normally hold your hands out here and just bring them forward while you do this exercise, but I'm just going to hold them right here for the sake of the camera, okay? So, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can go ahead and rewind the video and do that again with me if you want, but this exercise is supposed to get you to transition to using more of an open throat feeling while you play, to get a more rounded out sound. It'll get your sound a little bit darker as well, but its main purpose is just to round it out, get the edginess out of the way. And if you're a lead trumpet player and you think that it's going to take the edginess away from you in a bad way, it's not. It's going to make your tone sound more pure up there, instead of just brash and harsh. I used to be a player up there that it just sounded really bright and tight all the time. And when I found exercises like this, my tone rounded out and it just sounded better, but I also felt better playing it. Felt easier. So that's what I have to say about breathing. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe, you know the whole spiel. And thank you for joining me in my studio, and I'll see you next time, guys. See ya.